Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's look is was achieved, with majority of ColourPop products. But before we get into that, I do want to thank you for returning to my page. If you're new here, welcome. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so that you will be aware when I'm posting something new. So I want to share with you all the products that are used in today's look. I am also going to give you the pricing for those particular items, okay? The first thing is going to be the ColourPop No Filter Loose Setting Powder. I purchased this from Ulta. The regular price is $11, but I got it for $8.76. And this is the shade Caramel. The next thing is going to be the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Foundation. It was also purchased from Ulta. I have it in the shade Deep Dark 185W. Its regular price is $16. I purchased it for $12.73. And this is how it looks. Next product is the Such a Rush 4-in-1 Cheek Palette. Regular price for this is $12. I purchased it for $9.55. Next is an e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I purchased this from Ulta. It was $10. I have the Sonic Boom Palette from ColourPop. It's a 12-pan palette, and it is pressed powder palette, and it looks like this. It was on sale for $9. It's been a while ago when I purchased this, so it may not be this price. Also, I used two of the ColourPop Hyaluronic Creamy Concealers. I have the shade Dark 145W and Dark 158W, and they are priced at $9. I also have the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist, and it looks like this. I purchased it for $12. I used one of the Super Shock Shadows for my highlight. These are $6, and this is the shade In Harmony. What else did I use? I used Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 360 to set the remainder of my face. My neck is shiny. What else? To shape my brows, I use the Nicka K Brow Fixer. Looks like this. You can purchase it from any beauty supply store. When I purchased it, I think it was $5.99. I used two of the ColourPop pressed powder blushes. The first one was the shade Toffee Cake, and these were on sale for $5 when I purchased them. This is swirled. What else do I have? I use the Essence Lash Princess for the top of my brows, and I always use the Superhero by It Cosmetics for the bottom because it's so small and it fits perfectly in there. To conceal my brows, I use the LA Pro Conceal in the shade Fawn. I used this Noor, I think it's pronounced Noor, voluminous liner to actually draw out my little wing. I also used a e.l.f. satin eyeliner pencil, and I bought this when e.l.f. had a sale. It was right after I think it was for Cyber Monday, but this is what I used to line my lower eyelid. The Wet n Wild Simmer Brown Now is what I use to sculpt my brows and also to line my lips. Let's see, for for my lips today, I have on the shade Cookie. And this is a ColourPop Lippie Stick. And it looks like this. And it's matte. I do have some other products by them. I talked about them on the video that I posted yesterday, but I didn't use these today. I just tried to pull as many ColourPop items as I could to get this video filmed. So I do want to go over again, if you have this palette, the colors that I use. As the transition color, I use this brown, which is Utopia. And then on the entire lid, I put the, I think it's called Perennial. I can't hardly see it, but it's a fuchsia-like shade. And then on my inner corners or inner part of my eye, I put the Bloom, which is this shade. And then I went underneath with the brown and actually this fuchsia right here, because this one kind of has shimmers in it. So I didn't use that one at the bottom. I used the matte one. And it looks like I have, up close, it looks like it's going from that gold color to a pink to a purple and then into that brown. But there's no purple on my eyelid. It's just from that fuchsia color that I use. So I love the way that this look came out. I am very pleased with the products that I used today. As always, if you all have any questions or comments about the content or the products that were used in this video, you can leave your questions down below. If you are interested in seeing how I achieved today's look, please stay tuned. Hello, so I am going to try to do a look with majority of ColourPop products. I do have maybe about 3 items that I do not have from ColourPop, but my eyeshadow, blush, setting spray, concealer, foundation, setting powder, those will all be ColourPop. I do have some ColourPop lippies, but I'm not sure if I will be using that today, and I hope my lighting is okay. I've already done my brows and set them with the I use the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fun. And so that's already on my eyes. I didn't prime my eyes or set my eyes, I guess I mean to say. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I see that it's creasing, then I may go back and set it then. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it alone. So I don't have because I don't have a ColourPop primer, I'm going to use my Power Grip Primer from e.l.f. today. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my face. I did moisturize with Fenty skin products. I can't think of what it's called. I'll list it down below. And that was earlier, so as soon as I cleaned my face, I did moisturize. But I'm just going to apply this primer. And I like this primer because it's really, it's tacky. And so I think that makes it better or easier for your makeup to adhere to it. The palette that I have for today is the ColourPop Sonic Bloom Pressed Powder Palette. And it looks like this. There are 12 shades. Let me find a brush. I'm going to use this BH Cosmetics brush for right now because it's small. It's not a big fan brush. And so I want the product to stay where I place it. I think I'm going to go in with this brown shade right here, which is Utopia, as my transition shade. And I'm just trying to build this color up until I get the color payoff that I want for today's look. Excuse me. I have hair or something and I can't seem to brush it off. And I'm just using back and forth motions so that I can get the color payoff that I want. And then I'm going back. I'm alternating between the back and forth and blending motions. And I like this brown. It looks really chocolatey in person. And as you can see, I didn't put that much product or really any. I'm just using the product that I already have to go on the front because I don't want it to be as heavy as the tail end. And I have a mirror to my left. I'm using the camera and my mirror. And I think I blended that enough. And I have the toughest time with applying eyeshadow to my left eye. And I don't know if it's because I'm right-handed, but it's just something that I noticed when applying makeup. And I want to make sure that I'm not taking it too far up on the left side. I feel like it's really pigmented on the right eye, but not on the left. And it may just be me. And I mainly just want to make sure that my edges are blended out. And so for me, the satisfaction that I get out of blending my eyeshadow is because even though it's one color that I've applied, the soft parts or the parts that you blend kind of looks like two different colors or a gradient of that one color. And I like that. And now I'm going to take this is a Morphe times Jaclyn Hill JH2A brush. And it's similar to this one, it's just a little bit wider. So now I am going to go in with this fuchsia shade. It looks like it says perennial. And so I want this color to mainly be focused on the front of my lid. That's why I didn't bring that brown over too much, because I want that brown to be on the tail end. I didn't bring my color swatch. 1 second. Okay, and I'm just putting that, packing that fuchsia on my lid. I want to put a pop of color on the inner parts of my lid. So I think I'm going to use the Bloom. It's this shade right here. And what brush do I want to use for that? I think I'm just going to use a flat brush and see how that goes on, or how that applies. And I may have to build this up to get the color payoff that I want. And I'm not going to blend that because what I did was just pressed it on, and I didn't use a lot of it. So I want it to stay exactly how I have it. And I think I'm going to go back in with that perennial color, which is that fuchsia. And then I'm also going to go back in with that Utopia shade, which was the first shade we used. And the reason I'm using it towards the end is just to give my lids a little bit more depth and dimension to them. And I'm going to come back to the eyes to see what I want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and put the foundation on. Look at it. So I'm just going to do patting motions. 1 second. Sorry, I had a bristle from the brush to go in my nose. And I don't worry about putting a lot under my eyes because I'm gonna put place concealer there, so it's okay. And I think I want a little bit more on my forehead, so I'm just putting a little dot on the brush. Don't want to get makeup on my headband. I think that's good. And I go around my face so many times, I just like to make sure that it is all blended in. And I will definitely have the shade names for the products that I'm using in the description or on the screen. And then I'm going to also include the pricing of these items as well. I am using 2 of the ColourPop concealers. So I have one that's a shade lighter than me and one that is closer to my skin tone. It's not my exact skin tone. So I'm definitely going to go in with the lighter one first to brighten. And I apply this way just because of the way the doe foot is made on the ColourPop concealer. And so when I'm applying it, I'm starting from the top going to the bottom. When I blend, I start from the bottom and work my way back up to the top. And something something new that I've started to do was to put that concealer that's closer to my skin tone at the bottom. And that way the transition from my foundation to the part of my under eyes that will be brightened, it won't be so harsh. So now I'm going to take, this is a Real Techniques setting brush. The brush number is 402. I use 2 brushes for my under eye. So this is a setting brush, and then I have a Real Techniques contour brush, which is brush 206. They're pretty much the same brush, just this one is a bigger version. So I start off with the smaller brush. I'm going to also go ahead and use that darker concealer on my chin and my forehead. And I'm going to use it down the bridge of my nose. And for the bridge of my nose, I always go in with a darker concealer first. Because if I blend it out and I don't like it, I can always go on top with the lighter one. So we're just going to start patting motions back and forth, starting from the bottom and working our way to the top. And then the closer I get to my lower lash line, I look up. And the purpose for doing it is to try and get as much concealer in those fine lines, and to also blend it as much as possible so you don't have any wrinkles. Something that I also do is I go back in with my foundation brush to kind of help with that transition as well. I'm going to take that bigger brush and blend again. Okay. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Start with the bottom first and work our way up. And I like these concealers because they don't dry as fast as some that I've used. And I kind of got some where I don't want it, but that's okay. Just go in with my makeup brush. I can fix this now or I can fix it later. I'm going to go in with that foundation brush, not adding any more product. You're just using what's on your brush already. I think that's going to annoy me about my eye makeup, so continuing to blend, blend, blend. Then I'm going back in with that bigger brush under my eyes again. And the shade of your concealer is based on you. So if you don't want, I like a really light and bright under eye. You may not like it this bright, and that's fine. So you would choose one. This is probably 2 shades lighter than my complexion. You may want to choose one that's just 1 shade lighter. It's up to you. It's all about your preference and what you like. And so I just make sure that I'm blending out all of my concealer. And I always use go back over with my foundation brush around the edges of it, just to make sure there's no harsh lines and that transition is smooth. I'm going to let the concealer stay on my nose for a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and set my under eye. And again, I use that same setting brush. I just put a little bit in the top. I actually have another little acrylic, what is it called? It's like an acrylic case. It's really small. It's about this size. And I just put the powder over in here so that I don't make a mess. And I'm just making sure that I'm covering the areas where I placed the concealer. I'm going to put a little bit more because I didn't put enough. And I tested these products out on Sunday. I went to run errands and it was kind of hot outside too, but when I got back home, even after wearing my mask, I didn't have any wet or it looks like condensation on my face sometimes with some makeup, but I didn't have that with these products. I have a cheek palette from ColourPop, so I am going to use it. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna do, this is actually a blush brush that I purchased from Shein, but I use it to apply my contour and my bronzer with. Which one do I want to use? I think I'm gonna go in with the 2 of these. And then I am going to swipe my brush for a second because I want to go back in just to kind of blend. Don't want my under eyes creasing. And I'm just blending what I've already put on my face. I believe I still have the bristle hair in my nose. What I'm also going to do is set the remainder of my face, and I use a different powder for that, and it is not ColourPop. I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 360 Mocha. And for that, I'm going to take the Real Techniques 001 brush. So I'm just setting around the areas that I contoured. I'm going to go in and blend in the concealer that was on my nose. And then I'm going to take, this is a BH Cosmetics brush as well. It's the brush number 1. I like the shape and the feel of this, and this is what I use to contour my nose with. And I'm going to use, actually, I'm going to use this shade. Then I'm going to go in with this brush from Real Techniques to just soften it up a little bit. This is the Real Techniques contour brush. It doesn't have a brush number on it. This palette can be used as a blush as well, but I have 2 other blushes. This one is Toffee Cake. And this one is Swirled. So I think I'm going to go in with Swirled first. And this is a e.l.f. blush brush. It doesn't have a number. It just says e.l.f. What is it? Oh, this is a, I'm sorry, this is a e.l.f. highlighting brush, but I use it to blush with or to put on my blush. And then I use this brush that I bought from Shein to do my highlight. So I just want to try this swirl one to see how light it is. And I may tap a little into, because it's light, but it has a little pigment to it. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Toffee Cake, just a little. And that ties it into our contour shade. So now I am going to spray my face. And once that dries, I'll be back. Hello, I am back. I did go ahead and add my lashes. I did line and put a little wing in the corner. And I also smudged that transition color and that fuchsia color that we went in with. And I added a ColourPop Lippie. Which one did I do? Okay, I have on the shade Cookie, which looks like this. So I lined my lips with a Wet n Wild brown stick, and then I just applied the Lippie. I have on no lip gloss or anything like that. And this palette has a highlighter in there, but I don't think it's going to be as bright as I want it to be. So I do have a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade, I think this is In Harmony. So I'm going to use this as a highlighter today. I had to change my shirts. I now have on a long sleeve shirt. I got foundation on the other shirt, trying to, this is why you can't always do what you see the professional influencers doing on YouTube. I was trying to smear my makeup instead of just putting it on the brush like I normally do, and it dropped on my shirt. So I won't do that again. So I'm going to use this highlight brush that I purchased from Shein. I think it was about $1.99 or $1.29. Let's swatch this. Oh, they're so soft. That's how it looks. I have makeup underneath my nail. That's so nasty to me. So I'm going to get that off. And then I'm just going to touch it just a little bit. And so it's giving like a natural glow. And I like that. I think that other one was going to be a little bit dull. And definitely didn't want that. So I do want to add some down the bridge of my nose. I like it. I think that gives us just enough sparkle. And I am going to add some details about the products that were used. Excuse me, some details about the products that were used today. Sometimes I talk really fast. I'm sorry. Just to give you a feel of the shade names. The products, of course, most of them were ColourPop, but the shade names in case you are my shade twin. And I'm also going to include information about the pricing for it. So this is the final look, you guys. I am extremely pleased with it. I'm still working on my lighting, trying to get that together. But it's coming along. Everything is a process. Especially when you're applying makeup. It's definitely a process, because when you're putting it on, you're looking like, ooh, that's not going to work. But you just trust the process and keep trying. Makeup is forgiving, and again, it's based on what you like. As long as you like it, it's good. That is all that I have for you all today. I hope that you all are continuing to be blessed. Praying over yourselves and your families. I wish everyone continued success, and I will say, whatever it is that you would like to do in life, don't be afraid. Just step out there and do it. God puts you through things, and he tests you to make sure, and shakes you up to make sure that you're ready for certain things. He wants to make sure that you are equipped. You don't want to be put out there in the blind, but you also don't want to be scared. So if you want to do something, just align things and put things in place for you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do, and it'll happen. I love you all, and I thank you for tuning in today.